Nasa Hataoka, I hope I'm saying that correctly without butchering that name. She has a great motion. Today we're going to look at her cause and effect, more specifically what she does at the top to help her come from the inside down at impact. And she's able to hit 75% greens in regulation, and it's just one tiny move that I think can really help her out. Now, if anybody should be copying an LPGA Tour player, it's you. Stay away from PGA Tour players. They're more upper body dominant, they're stronger, they can get away with more. We're going to take a look at two videos. I believe this is from Wilshire Country Club, and that's the same golf course where the local caddy told Ben Hogan to aim for the Hollywood sign, and he said, which letter? I wish I had that confidence. And don't forget, I'm going to be gone Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I'm caddying for Bethany in the LPGAQ school, so wish us luck. I don't know if there's going to be a video tomorrow just because we got to do some prep work, so if not, I'll see you guys over the weekend. And don't forget to hit that like, share, subscribe. Let's go take a look at her swing, what we can learn from her cause and effect, and how it can maybe benefit you by looking at yours. Okay, so we got the lower plane line, upper plane line in Gumby Green. Ivan Red shows her spine angle and that back brace line, and yes, he's back. Barney Purple is showing you the head height. So these things do help me recognize some cause and effect. Now, the first thing we got to look at is the centeredness. So let's go from arches of the heel straight up to the sky, and we can see it's a very centered, stable position. Everything is supporting where the club will be moving back and forth. So knowing that, we're going to look at how she takes the club back and where the weight will shift, and some of us move our body according to how we take the club back. We see the rotation of the body taking that club back, but the hands are right on that lower plane line. We do see both of them cross this little area pretty tight together. So far it's looking good. Now, what we also notice immediately is a loss of shoulder tilt. Now, this is very key for her motion because it is going to help her stay balanced at the top of her swing, but then also set her up for increased tilt at impact. But we will notice that the hands do have to negotiate this at impact as well and be pretty active. Now, we take that club even further back. We see those hands are right in front of the chest, so they are not disconnecting on the turn. Some of us do take that club back immediately without turning, and you can still play good golf, but it becomes a little bit more timing oriented. We see the club is slotting pretty good so far. We get to the midway point, top of the swing. We're going to see something here. The arms are not going to quite reach that secondary plane line, and this all has to do with that loss of shoulder tilt. Now, this is normal for a driver because we're not trying to swing down. The golf ball is floating in the air, so usually we do see the loss of tilt based on the amount that you tee it up in the air. Now, some of us fight this and we start to raise our hands up to get to that secondary plane. Now, notice what would happen. The higher you raise your hands, the closer you get to your centered line based on your setup. But since we are trying to swing up on the ball, we can let our lead arm go along with that tilt, and that brings it down. Now, benefits of bringing it down is our center point of our club falls behind. Now, I have seen people that do this motion start to lose their weighting towards the toes to counteract that, because remember, we're going around this center point here, and you have to always keep that in mind in your golf swing. How do you stay centered? Because at impact, the center of your hips will find your centeredness, which is basically the center of your heels. We're going to leave that shoulder tilt at the top. We're going to take away the depth line and take a look at this first move down. Watch what happens. The right shoulder immediately drops down. You can see that right shoulder dropping down. That is due to the fact that she lost left shoulder tilt on the way back. So she basically preset more right shoulder tilt to work. And at the same time, she is also moving down. Now, it's not necessarily her head is bowing because she's still in that same spine angle. It is more the lower body staying bent. So we see right there. Now look at this. Where's the center of the hips? They're found again, the center of your setup. So you can't really negotiate hip turn without being centered. Too many of us are fighting our way to get to center from bad ball position or bad setup, which we can't get this. So now she's very rotational at this point. We see those hands will fall right on that lower plane line, but watch the shoulders. The shoulders will tilt pretty significantly here, and we'll take a look at how significant. And one of the reasons she bends down is to straighten up at impact to get that drive, but look how much the hips are open and her hands are falling behind her body. So in other words, they are connected to the right side. They strike the golf ball as she rotates and drives up, and then once she releases it, the club will fall straight back down in that upper plane line. But it happens very quickly. And one of the reasons is that impact, because we have more shoulder tilt, our hands are moving slightly to the right, which helps our path numbers, which helps us hit up on the golf ball. And as a result, our hand has to engage pretty quickly to catch up to all that at impact. So this is still a little bit of timing down at impact, as with every swing is, to make sure those hands catch up at some point. But let's go look at that shoulder tilt number. So we're going to go to the top of the swing here, and let's get it in Smirkleton. We're going to look at this number here, and this is sitting right at around 18 degrees of our tilt, and right just at impact, past impact, we can see here our new tilt is going to be pretty big. So we have 35 degrees of tilt. Now, you want to look for about 20 to 25 is about normal. So anytime you start to see 35 degrees of tilting, that means the hands are going to have to close that gap down because they're moving right. Now, this is a good thing because she's holding on to her angular momentum a lot more efficiently than we are. But along with that angular hold, there's a lot more pressure to release. So we do see those hands come on through much quicker. But look at how she stays in her posture. It is phenomenal. So this all really stems from somebody who's set up very athletic and is utilizing being centered correctly. So you see her centeredness doesn't shift towards her toes and her heels. It stays where it started, and that is key. Now, if you can find your centeredness correctly, I promise you things will get better if you can just focus on your tempo, timing, and rhythm. So I hope that helps you. Let me know your thoughts down below. Who do you want me to analyze next? But I'll see you maybe tomorrow, but most likely on the weekends because we've got a long 3 days ahead of us. Wish us well once again. Thanks for the support, and fairways and greens. A huge thank you to these incredible supporters on the screen and to you watching this video. Your support helps us bring our golf curriculum to low-income children around the world at no cost to them, just like our location in Cape Flat, South Africa, in partnership with the Hillard program. Please like, share, and consider subscribing. Together, we can give the gift of golf to kids who need it the most.